roll.
Miguel,
Present.
Stuart, absent. Sam,
Present.
Yasmin. Here. Aaron. Nope,
Okay.
absent.
All right, so let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. So we have one of the announcements that I want to remind everybody in the Village of Placements and to the ones that are watching on Zoom and to the newspaper, if Mary is there, to help us out with reminding all the village residents that are parked on Main Street to help us out and move their cars when there's snowstorms, move them to the parking, the village parking lot. We also have the parking lot on the side by Shamrose that we can utilize for people to park. When Corky and Sean are snow plowing 5 o'clock in the morning, late at night, it's very messy when they have to go around cars just because either the bed and breakfast, the Airbnbs, owners, they're not telling their guests, you can park in the property, in my property in the back, or you can park in the village parking lot. That way the whole Main Street is clear, and when these guys climb, boom, they clean up easily and faster. It's costing the village more money because the guys have to be careful, come around, come back. So everything is adding up, and I'm just looking for them on Main Street and on the streets in general. You know, when there's snow days, move your cars, park them in your property if you have a driveway. If not, put them in the village parking lot or down on Wetland Avenue. Again, it's costing more to the village taxpayers because they have to be slow and they have to come back and they have to do it. Instead of once, they have to come back 3-4 times. So that's, you know, it's eventually it's gonna be very expensive for the winters if we don't contribute. So I'm asking all the homeowners, Airbnb, bed and breakfasts, to have their guests or themselves, days like snow days, put their cars in the driveways or in the parking lot of the village parking lot. The other thing is, every month I belong to a, 2 years ago, there was, Delaware County has 10 villages, and 2 years ago, when I became mayor, the village of Delhi, the mayor, came up with this idea to create a group of mayors so that we can have more power, more voice when we need something. If we want to buy a truck, like a Department of Public Works truck, and then they have the village of Margaretville or the village of Sydney or somebody else, they want to buy a truck, we can get together and have a little bit more buying power so that we can approach the dealers and say, look, the dealer is going to give us, sell us a truck for $70,000. It's going to be 2 trucks or 3 trucks because 3 villages are going to be buying this, to get a little bit of a discount, more power combined as a group. We also, there's different issues that we've been dealing with because all the villages are, you know, small and financially, we're not financially strong. The village of Placements is very fortunate because we don't have a hospital, we don't have a police department, and those 2 things alone they're very costly to maintain, and you know, we don't have the budget. Again, we're lucky we don't have a budget for that stuff, but villages of Stanford, Sydney, they have their own police department, they have their own hospital, so Therefore, the cost is a lot higher. This group that we created was with different goals, and one of them is the state of New York gives over $30 million of sales tax revenue back to Delaware County. Delaware County has many responsibilities, financial responsibilities. With that being said, they still have a little bit of money left, and we've been working on this for over a year now. So the 10 villages, we got together, we've been talking to the Delaware County, and we have approached them several times. You know, we would like for them to help us out with this revenue that they have. They might have $3-4 million extra. So the villages are asking, you know, just a tiny part. The village of Fleischmann's is looking for maybe anywhere from $70,000 to $100,000 a year. And this is sales tax revenue, money that is being sent back to them. Today we have a meeting with the financial committee, and I gotta tell you, they're very tough. They don't lose money. They don't give you money just because you're asking or because we really need it. No, the financial committee, and I guess that's why Delaware County has what they have, and they have a good, healthy financial budget. Because again, they're not easy to budget. We have, we did a presentation to the mayors today, and we told them our situations. They came back and they said, look, we're not saying you guys are not going to get anything, but we have taxpayers that we have to respond to. We have the financial committee that we have to make sure that we have enough money to cover all the services that we provide. So we want you villages to come back and show us your budget, 24-25 budget, and see how it is, how healthy or how bad it is. So the 10 villages we have another meeting with them on April. So we're gonna bring, each one of us are gonna bring our budget or the fiscal budget for 24-25, have them look at it, you know, that way they can actually see how healthy or how bad we are financially. So that comes to the next thing. They said, can you guys cut anything that you don't need? Can you guys do anything in order to alleviate your financial, status? Anything that you don't need, that is not making you money. And, I was very hesitant to say and admit this year, the village pool, if we want to open it, it's going to cost in the budget probably about $50,000 to $60,000. Why? We need to resurface the pool, and that was a request and a strong recommendation from the Department of Health last year. The inspector came and she told me, if you guys want to open up the pool next year, you need to resurface it and you need to paint it before you open it. So that alone is, it's going to cost about $20,000 to resurface and paint it, the lowest bid.
We had several bids.
I only have one right now, and I'm waiting for, at least other two. So that's one thing. And then we have the lifeguard salaries, and then we have the chemicals. And then, as you, Mr. Todd, know, in the past, people has been complaining about the pool is not heated. They want to heat it. So if we were to do that, you're talking more money, because now we have to use oil in the summer to heat it up for, 10 people. So that was one of the things that is like, well, I love to open it, but if it's gonna cost this much, and we are okay financially, we're not hurting. But if we do this, then we're gonna come down. So that is not a decision that is being made yet to whether open it or not, because I like to have public input on that. How do you guys feel? Again, that was just, if we want to get this help from the county as far as the sales tax, they're looking at the budgets and says, you don't need this. How much you guys are making on the pool? $3,000?
Did they say that?
No,
No.
They
would.
They would.
Yeah.
Once they see these numbers, it's gonna say, well, because let's face it, people once, and when we have that beautiful pool, nice and clean, people, they prefer to go either to the Pine Hill Lake or to Arkville. However, when they come here at the meetings, oh, well, the pool, complaining all the time, but they never show. And when they show, the fee, it's $8 a day. It's too much. So the taxpayers are picking up that bill. Yes, Mr. Todd.
One advantage you have is this is a rare pool, it's a salt water pool. And if advertised, I think you'll get more patrons,
Yes,
but never, not enough to cover 50,000.
yes.
I have a lot of ideas about the pool. I feel like with it, is this like a tell you now or wait till public comments?
No, you can go ahead.
Okay, I feel like with the state's initiative for the southern tier being tourism and with Fleischmann's being the gateway to Delaware County, having a pool in the summertime as a point of tourism could benefit us, especially in the summer when we have Mountain Jam coming, which even if they're not all coming to Fleischmann's, there will be potentially like 40 to 50,000 people here. So I think if there was if we came up with a program for the pool where maybe like Monday through Friday, if you live in the village, you swim for free, just so people do it, and charge people that don't live in the village or whatever, you could charge them a small fee, charge more on the weekends. Is it possible to rent the pool out for private events?
Yes.
So like if we had approach the local Girl Scouts groups and local things like that, and we could say, hey, you could rent out our pool for a block on like a Friday afternoon, 3 hours. And we did some programming like that, it would help build awareness and put a little bit of money into it. And then obviously if there are concessions, we could make more money from concessions.
Yeah. So right now, the last month's meeting, we were talking about, I've been running the pool from day one.
Yeah.
Harold, and I've been strongly advocating that, we need to hire a CPO, we need to hire lifeguards. Because me as a mayor and before as a trustee, I did everything. I can no longer do that because it's too much work. So we need to have somebody that is gonna take over, is gonna be in charge of hiring the lifeguards, even the schedules for the lifeguards, making sure that they get paid. Make sure that the hours of the pool are, honored. This year also the idea was, and again, this was mentioned at the previous meetings, to open the pool instead of July, August, open it in May, Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
But once again, we go back to point one, which is we need humans, we need lifeguards, we need the CPO, we need people to run it.
Yes.
Because the pool by itself cannot be run. In the past, I mentioned, and this is really quick because I want everybody to go home. I mentioned to Miguel last time that when last year, I had 4 kids that came in that they wanted to be lifeguards. And then all of a sudden, all of them disappeared. One went to Pine Hill, the other one went to the rec, the other one didn't realize how far we were from where he lives. The other one found a job, another job where he was making more money. So with that being said, then I have to get whatever I had on hand, which was Victoria that works at Sam's, so she had to be part-time. So I have to sacrifice a lot of things to make it happen. But this year is not gonna happen, first of all, because Victoria is not with us anymore. She's traveling, she's traveling down south, so she's not around anymore. And like I said before, out of my time, my personal time, it just took too much.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Tan.
Did you speak to Patricia Rudge?
I did,
Okay.
yes, I did.
The lady's an encyclopedia.
Yes, she is, yes, she is. And like I mentioned to you, her husband is not doing that well, but she's willing to help,
Yes.
within reason. So Miss Patty it's a great person. I know her for, maybe almost 20 years. Because she teach everybody to swim, back then. But so we have, we still have time to plan it. That's why I wanted to do it from now. We need lifeguards, we need the CPO, we need somebody that's gonna be in charge completely of the pool. I'm stepping back because again, last summer, I was, 10 o'clock and I had to go and check the pool. I had to go and do this. 5 o'clock in the morning, I had to go and do before I came to the store. So it was just too much. Now it's time for somebody to step in. We're gonna open it up earlier, Memorial Weekend, God willing, hopefully. We're gonna heat it. If we decide to open it, we will go all the way to Labor Day weekend. So we have more time, and then, we can always use the better advertising, word of mouth, because we offered it one day to be rented privately. And I think we were charging $150 or $250 a day. So you rent to bring your friends, have your picnic. You have to have your lifeguard though.
Yeah.
Because there's no way around it. So you have to have your lifeguard, yes.
Could you, when you're soliciting someone to run the pool, combine a lifeguard duties with the running of the pool?
CPO?
The opening of and so forth.
Yes, I'm sure,
If you pay them a couple of dollars an hour more,
Mhm.
they may take on both responsibilities.
I'm sure we can do it. Yes, Miguel.
This is something we discussed in the last meeting, we had Rob Alverson here, and he was talking about the parade, the street fair. And we talked, everything Sam was saying about the pool, we discussed last meeting, including that point. But one of the things that came out of it that I, emphasized, and then Fleischman's first came and got in touch with me. I forwarded the email to you guys. I don't know if you saw it or not, but Rob got in touch with me. I suggested that the village shouldn't be in the business of running a pool at all.
Yeah.
And, for all the reasons Sam is saying, we're not set up to do that.
Yeah.
We inherited it, and there was a lot of effort to bring it back because it was cracked and had to be rebuilt, and a lot of money was invested. But a group like Fleischman's First is set up, and they want to do things for the village. We suggested at the last meeting that they have the possibility of saving the pool. I mean, literally, we're at a point where what Sam is saying is that, in order to access money from Delaware County, they're gonna look at something like that and say exactly what we're saying, that we can't do it.
Yeah.
And it's a burden, but Fleischman's First could very easily raise the money. They could very easily run the pool themselves. But, what do they actually do? I mean, other than this one street fair and plant flowers and put sunflower and put snowflakes on.
Let me give you the latest.
Yeah.
Carol and Brendan are working on that sign that we went to see and that we were part of it too. We're planning to have a new sign, Mr. Todd, coming down from Bel Air before you get into the entrance of Fleischmann's, right on 28. So we're planning to have a beautiful sign, and this has been going on for over a year now. It's been back and forth. Brendan McLean has been great at it. He's been sticking on it. I send different things. Diane helped me out to do insurance for the DEP, the DOT, for all of these things to happen. We finally got, I think, all the permits.
Yeah.
We're done. Now we have the contractor that is going to install the sign, heavy, rigid. We have the guy that is going to design Welcome to Fleischmann's, and it's a beautiful thing. So those two things combined, if I'm not mistaken, Harold, roughly are $7,000 to $8,000.
Yeah.
Now, to answer your question, Miguel, Brandon said that he reached out to Alan Chidrain, requesting some money. He says, unfortunately, we don't have any money. So with my metal dumpster that we have been working on, we're on the fourth one now. I mentioned it to Brendan, the scrap metal.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? The next money that we get, that money that we're gonna get from the metal that we're collecting from Fleischmann's residents, people that is willing to bring and dump their metal, I'll donate the $1,000 that we might get from that dumpster
Yeah.
to this,
For the sign.
for this sign. And then we can, raise the funds ourselves, donation box here for the sign. This is gonna benefit the village of Fleischmann's. It's not gonna be anybody in particular. And again, this is a beautiful, beautiful sign right on 28. Anybody coming down from Bel Air, New York, will see the sign because it's gonna be catchy.
And right now, there's like no signage for anything.
There is
Like-
some, there's
Well,
three,
I mean,
three
the
signs.
Small ones.
off of 28, or on 28,
There is.
like there's.
It's
Tiny.
small.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
the
it's
little-
connected.
yeah, the state road one.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Yeah, we're figuring some things out with the sign. I also think that's something that we could get tourism grants for and all that.
And the businesses, so Fleischmann's First historically was doing parades and street fairs and the Maple Fest, festivals. And, at a certain point, a few years ago, they shifted their focus. They became a 501c3. So they're a not-for-profit now. And they tried to emulate a chamber of commerce. What they decided among their group was that they would be business focused. So a lot of what you're describing is really the benefit is for the businesses in Fleischmann's, not for everyone else. And so Fleischmann's First is a great organization that could pool their resources as businesses.
Oh, my understanding was that with Fab Group and Fleischmann's First.
The Fab Group is some, they've never done anything. They exist ephemerally on Facebook.
Yeah.
Fleischmann's First is a 501c3. They're an actual organization. They have a certain amount of power. They have a historical presence, and they decided as an organization they would shift to be more like a chamber of commerce, where they would represent business interests. And a lot of what you're describing, including the pool and the signs, these are all things that really, the businesses of Fleischmann's could get together and fundraise, but it's not, the local government is really,
we're limited.
we're dealing with like the absolute basic stuff and just trying to, since Sam got elected, make up for all the
Yeah.
things that were never done
Yeah.
over the years. And it's so bare bones, it's something like the pool is like completely extra.
Yeah,
And
I just feel like if you've already paid the money to do it, it would be a shame to just.
well, we've
call
paid
it.
money for the theater too.
Mm,
The theater is like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
yeah.
But, we're not in a position where we can do anything about it.
Yeah.
But, your points about how it would be amazing for the businesses in Fleischmann.
Well, I
For
think
these
better
things-
businesses beget better community in general and things that.
I think the
businesses-
community's fine right now.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, I'm just saying, we trick or treated for the first time last year and
Right.
forever,
No,
so
that was
that's a community thing that.
On
is
Main
for
Street.
business.
I mean, I live,
Yeah,
it's on Main Street.
yeah, where a lot of people live.
Some people. You don't live on Main Street.
That's an introduction to the village, but it does not bring you tax money to run the village.
I mean, the village has to be, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a community of people who live here.
Yeah.
Who don't have businesses.
Yeah.
We're not connected to that at all.
Yeah.
So they're almost two separate things.
Okay. So that's the story on those two things, the mountain jam and the sign and the pool. So we have a lot of things happening and, we just need more money. Bottom line, comes down to money.
Is part of that money from Delaware County also from tourism?
No, this
Yes,
is
that's
strictly
separate?
sales tax. That's all it is, sales tax. So one of the things that we also talked about was, and we talk about this, the Village of Fleischmann talk about it, the board talk about it, but we never move forward on it. It's been almost 7 years since we had a water price increase. The last water increase that we had was in 2018. With the inflation, with everything breaking down, we need to increase prices for the water usage. And we're meeting with Cedar Woods next week, kind of trying to make sure that we do not exceed too much, but we make enough money to cover all the costs of all the expenses. The chemicals are, as we know, they're through the roof, they've been going up,
What percentage increase in the cost of materials?
To give you an example, I don't know, Mr. Todd, but to give you an example, the 5-gallon pail of chlorine used to be $28. The same one last year, summer, $39. And things like this, everything is today. I don't know if you guys heard the news today. We were another 3.3% inflation. So everybody is trusting that the economy is going to get better within the next month. I'm 53 years old. Until I don't see it,
You
I don't
haven't seen
believe
it yet, have you?
So, so again, we're trying to do what's right for the taxpayers and what's right for the village. That way we can still continue operating in an okay way and not say, oh, you know what, we cannot buy this because we don't have the money. Anything breaks, we have to buy it in order to keep operating. And that's what it's been going on lately. Ever since I took over, it's like, I became mayor and this breaks, that break, that break, that break. I'm like, what? And also at the same time, we got to talk about, at one point, we got to talk about all the meters that are not being removed in the summer. If the homeowners plan to leave it because they're going to come back, we need to find a way to say, look, if you're going to come back and your house is going to be suitable with the temperature, the water is not going to freeze, and therefore it's going to cause a breakage, and it's going to be a water leak, that the village is losing water because you decided not to take out your meter, and you decided not to heat up your house. It's not fair for the village to be losing water, especially when we had a drought summer last year. It's not fair. So we need to come up with a way to say, look, we are going to be, if this happens because of your negligence, there's going to be a fee, emergency fee that we have to pay for the water department to come in the middle of the night or Saturday and Sunday after hours during hours, whatever it is, but it's an emergency because you're not home.
And do what the homeowner should have done in the first place.
Exactly. So we're gonna put a fee, we don't know what number that is. I gotta talk to the trustees and come up with a number. And then after, you know, this is money that if you want to be negligent, that's okay. But if anything happens, you're gonna pay for it. Not the village, not the taxpayers' money. So that's another discussion that we're gonna have within the next couple of months because we have to get it done. Yes, Mr. Tan.
May I ask how many breaks you had this winter so far?
Right now, as of this morning, we have 7.
7?
Wow.
7. So I was talking to water department today. We roughly do, you know, on a normal basis, about 30,000 gallons per day. A few days ago, we were up to 97,000 gallons a day. As of today, this morning, we were at 60,000 gallons a day. So they were able to fix some water leaks and they were working on more. They have 7 more this morning. So, and again, the other thing is, you know, the weather, the temperature and the age of the pipes, the lines, because they're old. With that being said, that was a report from the water department. We have also the water department, sewer department, the way they're monitoring the wells, the everything within the village, the sewer department and the water. We have right now, right next to the village office, we have a station. That station has a dial-up, like a phone line, that sends signals to the sewer plant when something is not going right. What happens is that it gets to the sewer plant, the sewer plant sends an emergency beep to the plant operator, and therefore they have to come down and look at what's going on. Right now and this has been budgeted already, the piece of equipment they're gonna be buying, they wanna upgrade. They wanna move from dial-up to more digital signals that they're gonna be able to see and to track what's going on, rags, water flows. We have a blockage on this well. So the water department has requested a purchase of, let's see,
Turbident meter.
yes,
That's a turbident meter. $24,000.
I'm looking at 25,000.
Okay, I'm looking at it's on the budget. Is that the
Okay.
same thing?
Yeah, it's $25,000. Yeah, that was the most expensive thing. But again, this is gonna be like everything. It's gonna be adjusted because instead of them coming in, putting 3-4 hours for something that they can actually monitor and control from their headquarters, they're gonna be saving the time and the money. So this piece of equipment is gonna allow us to save some money in the long run. And besides, the one that they have right now is outdated, it's not working. That's why they have to replace it with a new one. And since they're gonna replace it with a new one, why not go with what the new times are, which is digital? So,
One thing about that, when Jasmine and I did a tour of the sewer plant, one of the things they said to us is that station that you're talking about is a pump station.
yes,
And it's because it's lower than the sewer plant.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so all the sewage goes there first and then gets pumped from there to the plant.
To the plant.
And one of the things they told us is that in terms of like funding, that the pump station is not funded the same way the sewer plant is funded. We get reimbursed, like you always say, from the sewer plant,
Mm-hmm.
but for some reason they left out the pump station. And they don't fund us
Yeah,
for the things that we need at the pump station.
well, that was the original contract, Miguel.
And when
So-
we went there, this was something that they were talking about, that we had to look into it because they should be paying for, because we couldn't operate the sewer plant without the pump station.
Right,
It's not like we chose to have it. It was the only way to do it.
well, next week we're meeting with Brian Zuazo. He is the main guy for sewer, Cedar Woods. We can discuss that with him, and, you know, they're always been good to us. Cedar
It
Woods,
should be considered part of the
Cedar
sewer
Woods has
plant.
been good, but again,
Yeah.
this should have been done at the beginning,
Yeah.
you know,
But he-
again,
He
it's
just told us that, Sam.
it's like-
We didn't know.
every,
He said, by the way,
well, you didn't know that,
this should be part of the sewer plant.
yeah,
It's not something
this should be
separate.
done again, 20 years ago when they did this,
Exactly.
you know, to begin with, yes, Mr. Tan.
There are several pumps in the village, from private residents solely to the one that's down by the office. The elevation of the sewer plant was higher than the majority of the plumbing along
Yes,
Wagner Avenue and so forth.
absolutely.
That's why it has to come to a pump station and be pumped to the sewer plant. Unless you wanna stand down there with a shovel and throw it over the wall, I don't know, it's up to you.
Yeah, no, it's, you know, it's like, sometimes you look at this engineering designs and you scratch your head and you say, wow, that doesn't make sense. But they're the ones that study for it, so, you know, they're the ones that knows, but common sense, sometimes things don't make sense.
It got
You're
forced down,
dealing
it
with
got
the
forced
city of
down our
New
throats,
York.
Sam. We were
Yeah,
forced to
God
do
bless
it.
you.
We didn't have a choice.
So, but with that being said, now we have to deal with this and move on. And again, this particular thing was budgeted already, they put it in the budget, so it's nothing that we are, you know, doing an emergency purchase, borrowing money from here to there, because it was already budgeted.
And it
So-
is covered 85%.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh,
So,
that's great.
let's see,
So
and
then
then we
maybe
have
it's
this,
working.
we have these other bills. Let's see.
You did that?
I
Search it.
I was told about that.
Is it located at the pump station?
Okay.
Yes, what that is
So that we can
is
approve it.
basically, just to put it a little, it's kind of like the on dial-up, just say. And
Ah.
now they want to tap into our cable so that they get the signal quicker and faster
From there.
and a better, yes.
Right.
So that's what that's, like Sam said, it's going digital. But it is covered under the sewer budget.
Ah.
There's only one bill there that is not covered.
This is the other thing they wanted when we went, Jasmine and I. They asked us for more storage, remember?
Yes.
They said they didn't have enough room for their stuff. It was like in the middle of the room.
There you go, Miguel. It
And
took
you know
2
that,
years.
you know that Winifred told them they couldn't have it?
Well, it took 2
She said,
years.
she said, no, they've been asking for years, Sam.
Yeah, well,
So
it took
that,
more than 2 years then.
is that like a, is that one of those like the back of an 18-wheeler kind of thing?
No, it's a regular, I think there's
It's
a
a
picture.
shed?
Yeah, I think
Ah.
there's a picture there.
You remember that, Yasmin? Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That they were asking for that?
Mhm.
To store the chemicals, the snow blower, all the stuff that was in the.
So we'll make a motion to approve those.
Sure, I'll make a
Yeah,
motion to
please.
approve, yep.
Um, Seconded.
There's the other one. Okay, yep. Motion to approve, Jasmine seconded it. Huh? We have to do it 4 times?
No, I don't know, yeah,
No.
1,
okay,
2, 3, there's 4.
okay.
Thank you. The other thing is Diane has been working very hard on the sewer budget. The sewer budget is, as you know, Mr. Todd, Harold, we get funded 85% from DEP. And every year we have to provide like anything else, our budget. And Diane has been working on this for a while because she didn't have the knowledge for this to be easy. So she had to do a lot of research, a lot of back and forth. So finally, we got the sewer budget. We spoke with Lucas, everything looks good. So now we have to approve the sewer budget tonight so that it can be passed on to DEP, and therefore we meet our deadline. Once we meet the deadline, then we get refunded for all the money that we have already paid. So again, 85% from the city, you're talking over $300,000 on the monies that we're gonna be getting back. And we don't get everything at once, right, Diane? We get
It's quarterly.
quarterlies. So we get 120, we get 75. So, but anyways, I'm just giving you numbers. But so we need to do a motion to approve the sewer budget, please.
I seconded it.
So Jasmine, and then Miguel. Thank you, Jasmine. Thank you, Miguel. And then we have the resolution for the friendly people, the inspectors, the election inspectors. I'm already happy with the names that I see there.
Ah. Oh my goodness.
It's gonna be peaceful. This is for the election, Mr. Todd. So we have
I haven't seen you that happy since you ran for office.
Are we supposed to read this out loud? You want me to read it, Sam?
would you please?
Resolution number 003/2025, which is Fleischman's Board of Trustees General Election, appointment of election inspectors. At the village board meeting, Board of Trustees of the Village of Fleischman's, New York, on February 12, 2025. And whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Fleischman's, according to election law, Section 15-116-1, designated by resolution number 1/2025, the date of the general village election shall be held March 18th, 2025. And whereas the Village of Fleischman's will be holding a general election for 2 seats in the Village Board of Trustees and for 1 seat of mayor on March 18th, 2025. And whereas election law section 15-116-1 states the Village Board of Trustees shall adopt a resolution appointing election inspectors. And whereas the village board must appoint inspectors to be present and work on the village general election on Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. And whereas the village board must set the salary of the village inspectors, now therefore be resolved that the village board of trustees appoints George Miller as election inspector and chair of the village general election, and Sue Finch as election inspector and as an alternate election inspector, who shall assume the office of inspector upon the liability or refusal of an inspector to assume or perform their duties, and sets their salary at $17.50 an hour. Whereupon the resolution was put to a vote, recorded as follows: passed by the following vote of all Village of Fleischmann members voting in favor, opposed thereof. Affirmative, Village of Fleischmann's board members, you have to vote. So who votes to pass it?
Do you read that name? Or we read?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I can,
Doesn't matter?
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Here, give me that.
There.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay, so you're gonna, a motion to,
Wire on the floor.
I will, motion to.
Approve
Yeah,
the resolution.
thank you. Approve the resolution.
A.
Okay, so Miguel's, right, and actually we gotta do, it's not a motion. What is it? Voting for, so who approves
a resolution.
that? Who approves the resolution?
I do.
Well, okay, so it's I from.
Aye.
Oh, and Sam is too, so,
All 3.
okay, and then the other 2 are not here, so. Okay. So the resolution was adopted on February 12th, 2025. And we're good.
Thank you.
Do you know those two people?
Yes, I know them very well, yes. That's why I said, friendly, humble, they've been here for 100 years, so I like both of them. They're very nice. The other thing that I wanna refresh and remind, until we do, I don't know what we're gonna do, but we need to do something, because on the newspaper, the trustees, the meetings, and work them out, I keep mentioning to people, slow down, coming through town, slow down. People believes that Main Street or Wagner Avenue are Route 28, and they go like. We just had an incident 2 nights ago. Somebody went over the bank by right behind the ballpark, right on Main Street.
By Agnes Law.
So yes, and again, if you're driving at 25 miles an hour, there's no way you're gonna flip your car. No way. So we were very fortunate that nothing happened to the fellow driving, and he was in the middle of, well, it was an early morning because it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. But I want to keep reminding everybody to slow down when coming through placements. If you want to speed, by all means, go to 28, speed over there, not here. We have families, we have pets, we have elderly people crossing the streets, and it's just not right. So I want to remind everybody on Zoom and the newspaper to please, the newspaper, put it on the newspaper. Slow down. No need to go so fast. Yes, Mr.
Do you mind if I contact the Department of Transportation and ask what signage is legally enforceable and available to make the driver negligent if they drive too fast in the village and cause an accident or kill somebody?
By all means, Mr. Thank you.
I'll call
Appreciate
tomorrow.
it. Yes, thank you. We take all the help that we can get because this is an issue. And again, I've spoken to people. I have, asked them very, very humbly to slow down, and it seems to be that it's not working. So I spoke to the state troopers, I spoke to the sheriffs for them to come over and, hang around and they come maybe, I spoke to them today and they come tomorrow, the day after, and then they don't see any action, so they move on. Well, it'll help if you guys come in randomly, park here, hide, and that will help because,
You're not allowed to have it.
people
They
are
were
so,
here on Friday, that's when I was coming home from work. when
They were here
giving
on
somebody a
Thursday.
ticket.
no good,
Right
thank
on,
you.
right on.
But
Maybe
maybe,
front row seat all day long and just watch.
Well, it's not
trucks
hiding, Miguel,
fly
but they
by.
could park where we are
Yeah.
and our car
No,
hides
they are
them.
allowed to do that.
Yeah.
yeah, but again, it's an issue, it's a problem. We have like that one back there, kids very, they like to run, they have so much energy, and God forbid, something happens. I mean, so we're trying to minimize these things. We have already spoken about speed bumps, which is probably what we're gonna do. That's the cheapest way to do it, because speed bumps are not as expensive as one of those signs that you have. But Mr. Todd, please look into it and let us know.
One thing about speed bumps, they said because this was an access road to other roads, Breezy Hill and so forth, you can't put speed bumps here.
Who said that?
This was years ago, the Department of Transportation.
Oh, okay, DOT, okay, well,
They also wanted to lower the speed limit to 20 or 25 miles an hour, and they flatly refused to allow that. But this was years ago, things changed.
well, people change, people die. So,
That's what it takes
In
sometimes.
some cases, that's a
unfortunately.
good thing.
yes, so who knows, maybe they're more freely right now. So yes, all the help that we, thank you. That being said, well, we did all the public comments during the meeting. Do you guys have anything else to say?
Yeah,
Or can I go home?
you better approve last month's meeting
Oh.
minutes, please.
A motion to approve,
Hello, hello,
last month's meeting minutes.
Motion to approve last month's meeting minutes.
Jasmine. Seconded.
I'll second
Miguel.
it, sure.
Is that you, Madeline?
Marilyn.
it's me. Hello, I'm out of town. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, great. Yeah, yes. So thank you for bringing up about the speed situation. You know, as someone who's right on Main Street, I deal with this, you know, when I'm up there on a daily basis. And if the speed bumps could be put in, that'd be great. Or more legal signage, that would be great, especially in the summer. It's really bad. And because even they do a great job cleaning the streets, but all it takes is one icy patch and we don't want someone to get killed. We don't want it to get to that point. It would be absolutely terrible. As far as the pool, more closer to the summer, I know of the person who runs the Central Catskills Chamber of Commerce and the Delaware County Chamber of Commerce, both know me. Not necessarily, you know, I know Carol Byrne and Ray Pucci knows of me because I've done work with them. I'm more than happy to contact them to push advertising for the pool. As far as marketing the pool, getting the word out, because not people don't necessarily know. And the street fair is a great time also to advertise about the pool, that you don't have to live in Fleischman's, that you can be outside of Fleischman's and utilize the pool. And it's a great pool. The other thing I wanted to bring up, which I know I bring up every so often, but I had an idea. And I feel strongly about it because I know we talk a lot about taxpayer money. And it's not that I'm picking on anybody per se, but I have a reason. Again, Aaron Goldring has not shown up. He doesn't show up. He doesn't participate. He ran again on the board last time, full well knowing that he wasn't going to be available, or if he's not available, hasn't resigned. I know you have to follow state rules. I get that. Is it possible? And I will just say this, I'm really kind of annoyed about it because he does collect the check. So when we're talking about money, the money he's getting, I view it as village welfare. He gets a check for not showing up and not participating. Okay. And it's wrong on so many levels, morally, ethically, and everything else. And I'm not here to badmouth people, but this is really it's terrible. And this is going on for more than one term. You don't run for office if you cannot fulfill the duties. And I know emergencies come up, I get that, but you don't purposely run. Is there a way, working within New York State guidelines, that somehow the village can pass a resolution? If you run as a trustee, you are a trustee, and you don't show up for, let's say, a certain percentage of meetings. Let's say there's 12 meetings a year. You don't show up for, let's say, 4 of them, or, you know, you don't show up for a certain number, you cannot run again. You just cannot run again, because this cycle will repeat itself over and over and over, and it's wrong. I'm not saying he's a bad person. I'm not going to say that, but he should not be on the board. He's taking up a spot that someone else could fill, and also pick up some of the work that I'm sure you're all carrying. So, you know, I know you probably agree with me. Maybe you don't feel comfortable commenting, but maybe look at passing a village resolution. You don't show up for a certain number of meetings, you do not get to run for trustee office again and again and again. Okay, and I think I make sense. I think I'm being fair.
On Albany,
Thank you.
on the 4th of March. And one of the things that I'm gonna be talking to the people that I'm gonna be meeting with is different things that, you know, it's the law, it's been like this forever, but can we, like you said, can we modify some things that are not appropriate for the village? Because it's not fair for the village of Placements, it's not fair for the taxpayers, it's not fair for the trustees, because again, like you said, we work a little bit harder, you know, some of us work harder than the other ones, and it's not right. So, but when I do my meeting on March, Madeline, I'm gonna talk about it and see where I get. But thank you for your comment, Madeline.
Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate your time, and maybe someone should talk to him, but it's again, nobody's perfect, but it's so wrong, and it does put a burden on the rest of the board,
Yes.
and it's not fair. Okay, thank you for listening.
Okay, anything else?
Motion to order the